Good evening, everyone. I don't know if it's just you, but I seem to have my clip playing over twice, but never mind. It seems to be all right now. Good evening, everyone. Oh, this is annoying. Right, shut that up a sec. Right. How the devil are we, everyone? So, welcome to episode 14 of the Opie-Verse from a somewhat new location. As you can see, my kitchen. The wife's away, so the husband will play. I've got the backdrop on the big screen. I'm loving it, and thank you all for being here. Before we get into tonight, it's going to be a good week for things this week. It feels like there's a lot to talk about, and I want to kind of address like things that have been going on with our guest. If you're wondering who they are, of course. So we'll talk about those. But before we get into it, let's have a look who we've got. We've got Tom in here, Montgomery Gator, the Bandit guy. Good evening, all. Good evening, Anakin. John Archer. John, I've got something for you. You know what it is. Imperial Bricks. How's it going? Movie Talk. So, guys, Movie Talk on TikTok is currently doing a 501st giveaway. There is a lot of people. It's Bebo or Bricks 8 Pennies. He's got the popcorn ready. James Dennis. Good evening, all. Good evening. So, 2 seconds. So, before we get into this, I will, of course, just run through everything with you. So, I'll just be really professional, but I'll also always letting you know that this is a more adult theme, or it could be a more adult theme. So with that could come with, certainly for me, and I know our guest, the consumption of alcohol on screen. It could also include some mild or foul language. We won't do it intentionally, but sometimes it's needed. I always say that I don't plan on any public nudity myself, but there might be a little something. You never know. You never know what Matticus is going to get up to. We'll see. But you get the gist. You know, it's just more adult themes and references, and it could even come just with like the subject matter of the conversations and the topics that we're having. That's that done. As always, thank you to our sponsors. We've got Wicked Brick for your Lego displays. Of course, I brought some new displays this week, and I haven't even got them with us. How stupid am I? But if you check out my my TikTok from last night and my Instagram post tomorrow, you will see the minifig displays for both the Marvel and the Looney Tunes CMFs, which are very cool, by the way, and well worth the wait. And Lee Light Go for all of your Lego lighting needs, which is actually a good conversation topic with our guest this evening as well, because I know they've dabbled in a bit of lighting as well. Something a little bit new as well, because I've been asked about this quite a bit, and I know when we get the stream further down the line about how you guys can support, there is no kind of ask demand on to do so, but if you feel like you would like to support the stream and support the channel, there is a tip button within the description below that you can use through Streamlabs, to use PayPal if you wish, and anybody who does subscribe, of course, who does offer a little tip will be very much appreciative, and we'll give you a little shout out on air too. So that'll be nice. But at the very least, before we bring out our guest, what I would ask, and I'll ask this a couple of times because I'm trying to bolster my YouTube etiquette, is just ask you all in the stream right now to hit that like button. Let's kind of get some love for the stream before we get going. So without further ado, I'll take that off because we don't need that anymore. Kitchen reveal indeed. But yeah, Christ the FIFA, welcome. Those look amazing. What look amazing? Oh, the cases, they do look good, don't they? They do indeed, John, they do. So without further ado, I will bring in our guest, the one, the only, Mr. Matticus Bricks.
Hey, what is going on, Opie-Wan? How are you?
I'm trying to solve some sound issues.
What is going on,
Opie-Wan? Oh dear.
Little delay there. A little delay.
Okay, so Matticus, bear with me a sec.
Certainly.
I am going.
We lost him. All right, I guess he's fixing up the sound. I don't know how everyone can hear me, but really excited to be on the stream tonight.
There we go. Am I back?
There we go.
Oh man, so this is really annoying. I seem to be getting an echo of myself.
Do you have Do you have your own sound? Well, you have to have your sound on so you can hear me speak.
I do. I know why. Never mind.
Have we solved it?
I know why that is. It's because there's not an echo. I just have the stream on my second browser. That's why. Silly me. Never mind.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. Anyway, technical issues aside, how the devil are you, Matticus?
I'm doing really good. Really good. It's exciting to be live again. I actually was just thinking to myself, I haven't really even been on a live stream since sometime in the summer. So it's good to be back.
Does that include being live on TikTok?
Yeah, I think it's been since July or August that I've gone live on TikTok.
Wow, that's a long time. I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit because I'm interested in your opinions on this because the whole landscape seems to be changing and people are coming and going, but we'll get into that. What have you been up to this week, though? Let's start off with last weekend because you had a nice little trip away last weekend. How was all of that for you?
Ah, fantastic. So my girlfriend and I, we took a trip up to Mystic, Connecticut. Really beautiful little seaport town, nice little fall getaway. We saw some great fall foliage. We got to do a ghost tour downtown. So we heard very nice Hagrid-looking gentleman took us around the town in the middle of the night with a lantern and told us ghost stories. So that was super interesting. Yeah, I learned so much about the town, but got to find out about some spooks and ghosts and goblins too.
Nice. I've done similar things in Edinburgh, in Scotland, because Edinburgh is said to be. I actually don't believe in any of it, but I actually also at the same time love the mystique of it all. Like I'm very kind of like, oh, there's no such thing as ghosts, but at the same time, I love kind of the whole, like, kind of what could be. But yeah, don't use. I knew he was going to do this. So Opie has now decided that he wants to go to the toilet. Of course, he waits until like 8 minutes into that. You'll have to wait. You'll have to wait, and we might see him on stream, which we never get to see as well.
That'll be great.
So, but yeah, what else have you been up to?
So yes, we did that. Did our trip, came back, and since then, I've had some free time this week. I've been doing a lot of Lego stuff actually, which is new because I haven't been, I've been a little bit distant from my collection and Lego for a while. I've been pretty busy, but I bought some used Lego, some vintage stuff, which is something I'm really into. I just love buying up people's old Lego collections and restoring them, cleaning them, going through the whole process, sorting. So this week I've been rebuilding and reassembling a lot of old Lego sets, and also watching a lot of Hallmark Christmas movies while I do it, getting into the season of Christmas.
What a time to be alive. What was the last like retail new released set that you bought?
So I wouldn't say it was a new release, but I bought the James Bond Aston Martin set.
Okay.
Haven't built it yet.
It's retiring soon, isn't it?
It's what? Yes, it is.
Soon. Yeah.
It is retiring soon. Yeah, that's what I heard. And after having seen No Time to Die, big James Bond fan. Really loved the movie.
Seen it yet.
I recommend it.
It's like 3 hours though, isn't it?
About 2 hours 45 minutes. But you don't feel. Yeah, you're just like if you love Bond, if you love Daniel Craig, yeah, you're in it. So
nice.
Do you have a favorite?
I will see it. I think there's just been other things on, like all the Marvel stuff and
yeah, very inflated.
Yeah.
I'll ask quickly. Do you have a favorite Bond actor, favorite Bond movie, anything like that?
I think so. I do love Daniel Craig. And I think he has the advantage of the films have been written very differently for him.
Agreed.
But I think personally, I love Pierce Brosnan, but Pierce Brosnan's films weren't great, like the writing in the later ones. But Goldeneye is a spectacular movie. Sean Bean is spectacular.
Amazing.
And the game for the Nintendo 64, if you ever had it,
I did.
It just everything for me, absolute nostalgia. It all comes together. And he was a handsome man. I mean, he still is a handsome man, but he just looked like James Bond back then. And it's quite interesting. I don't know if you see this on your TikTok feed a lot, but right now everybody's doing the whole speculation of who's going to be the next James Bond. And they're talking about like Idris Elba and Tom Hardy. They're all like, there's an argument that they're all too old, but at the same time, they're certainly too well known. So here's the question to you. Who would be your selection for the next James Bond?
So 5 or so years ago, I probably would have said Idris Elba. I think if Craig had a couple of fewer movies, or if his movies had come out a little bit, earlier, I think Idris Elba maybe around like 2012, 2013 probably would have been like a perfect selection. I think not that he's gotten too old, but he's getting there. He's a little bit too old.
He's too well known as well, because you've got to think where they'll be when they're done with Bond, not with where they are right now.
So exactly. So I kind of think for me, it's hard for me to name a specific person as James Bond, because I want to see someone who we don't really know too well. Someone who's maybe only had like one or two few roles, if that, and is still up and coming. I'd like to see like a younger Bond. I don't know. I feel like we always see Bond when he's like, been an agent for a while. What if we had like an early origin story with Dev Patel? Actually, I think Dev Patel is probably my pick for someone I would really like to see as James Bond.
And he's very off the radar at the minute as well. So although he's well known, he's not kind of like in your face well known right now. Sorry, I just need to let the dog out because of course he picks an inconvenient time.
Go ahead. I can continue talking about Dev Patel. Am I able to select comments? No, I don't. But I do see, Emma, you mentioned that you would love to have Dev Patel as Bond.
What I would say is things like Idris Elba, Tom Hardy, like all of those people are saying, for me, are a good Bond villain. Like, they would all be brilliant. Like Sean Bean was. Once they decided Sean Bean wasn't going to be Bond, he would be the perfect Bond villain.
And he was.
So Christ of Fever, Taron Egerton, that's the guy who played Elton John, right?
Elton John. But now he's also in the Kingsman.
That's the issue, isn't it? Kingsman is the issue. Which is
itself a Bond parody of sorts.
Yes.
So, you run into that issue. I think that he definitely, I don't know. There's like a quality about Taron Egerton that's like I don't know if I could take him as like the cold hard, but I feel like he's a nice guy. I don't know if that's,
Yeah. I feel like he's one of those that all you would do is compare him to Eggsy too much. And Eggsy is very like up from the street. He's very kind of like, he's not Bond. And you would look at the two and it's like, okay. But this is kind of the point though, isn't it? This is why you need a somewhat relatively unknown. So there is no basis of comparison.
Right.
But nobody leaps out. But I think that's a good thing. But yeah, I'm interested to see what they do. But I think it'll be a little while as well. I think they understand the success they had with Daniel Craig.
Absolutely.
And the last thing they're going to want to do is like rush another out and kind of continue that comparison.
I'd say it'll be at least 5 years before we have any sort of anything next from Bond.
Yeah, I would agree. In other news this week, obviously we've officially found out about the worst kept secret in Lego history, being the Lego Star Wars UCS AT-AT.
Absolutely.
Any thoughts on it?
I love it. I didn't want to love it. I have my AT-AT or AT-AT if that's your thing. I know I saw some debate about that recently too, as is always going on, but I say AT-AT. I believe you say the same. I like it. I was thinking, this is an $800 price tag. I don't ever want to have to buy an $800 set. I was kind of deciding against, continuing to go for the Millennium Falcon because I have my Playscale Millennium Falcon. I have my Playscale AT-AT, but it's the interior that does it for me.
Yeah, it's cool. I really like the legs. I love the way they've designed the legs on it. But yeah, I think the main pain point for us is it's the same price for you guys as the Falcon and the Star Destroyer. Or actually, the Star Destroyer is a bit cheaper, isn't it? But
Star Destroyer is $700.
Yeah, they've increased the price here by like £100.
Really?
So yeah, and I don't know why. Like Lego don't really talk about what they do, like the rationale of what they do, but it's gone up. So that's left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. So yeah, we'll see. But it's a shame because it is a very good set. It looks a brilliant set. I think they probably could have, because it's a less piece count, I think they could have put more snowtroopers in. They could have maybe gone up to like 10 or something. So
well, you give all those seats, but the flip side is we're getting a snowtrooper battle pack. So you have to look at it from Lego's perspective. So they're trying to sell snowtrooper battle packs.
Yeah, the cheek of it.
Yeah, they want you to buy your AT-AT and then buy 20, stormtrooper packs to fill your AT-AT because it fits 40 minifigs.
Exactly. Do you know, on your point earlier on, so I do say AT-AT, and I don't I'm not bothered when people say like AT-AT. No, but I've seen people get triggered when the people who do say AT-AT trigger it, like when people say AT-AT. So what do they call an ATST or an ATTE? An AT or an ATST? Like that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
You can't mix up formats, dude. Like
no. But then I wonder, what about TIE fighters? Is TIE an acronym? I don't think it is.
That's a good question.
That one's always wondered me. But I would never say a TIE fighter, and you've never heard anybody say that. So
does anybody know? Is the TIE fighter is TIE an acronym for something, or is it?
Where's our
could be Tactical Imperial Enforcement Fighter?
Yeah. Where's our Google scholars here? Somebody type that in. Yeah,
somebody will know if it is
later on.
I always just assumed it was a thing, but never mind. The only thing, but yeah, Disney Plus. Did you tune in?
I watched the Marvel special later on in the day. I watched their Pixar thing, Twin Iron. I think it's Ion Engine.
Twin Ion Engine, yeah. That would make sense.
That's it. Yep, that does sound familiar now. Well, there you go. We say TIE and then ATST. But
you learn something new every day. Didn't I?
You do. So I did tune in to see the new, very brief, what did we get all together, less than 3 minutes of new content from Marvel, showcasing like 4 new shows in 3 minutes. But I'm very, very hyped for everything that's coming.
Well, Marvel, they were just pouring it on, weren't they? But Star Wars, they didn't tell us anything that we didn't know already. So,
well, I don't know about you. I did not know about Agatha, House of Harkness. Is that
all right? Yeah, I knew about
that. I didn't know about Marvel Zombies. I didn't know about X-Men 97, the continuation of.
And I love that series.
I just started watching it. I watched a couple episodes. So
I'm just about to start to rewatch it because I've just finished the 94 to 97 Spider-Man.
I've been watching that one too.
It's brilliant, but I'm sure in the X-Men series, Spider-Man comes into it. So yeah, that's cool as well.
Yeah, because there's crossover with Spider-Man and X-Men.
Yes, there is, which is pretty cool.
Really fun.
Yeah, there was quite a lot. Moon Knight, which everybody's raving about Moon Knight, but I have to confess I know nothing about.
I've read a couple of Moon Knight comics, and really cool. I wish I got into it more. I liked what I read, and then I just kind of fell off it. But very cool character, kind of like Marvel's Batman, essentially, but a little bit different with more magic, more of that involved. So it's pretty neat. And I love Oscar Isaac. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited to have him in the MCU.
Oscar Isaac? Who's that?
So Oscar Isaac, he played Poe Dameron.
Of course, yes,
in Dune. A lot of roles for very talented actor.
Yeah,
like him
good
a lot.
actor. Yes, very much
Yes.
so. Not nice. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So like She-Hulk, there was probably
She-Hulk.
too many to remember.
Khan, Ms. Marvel.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
But
I always like her comics.
I was going to bring this up later and talk about your Avengers Tower, but obviously everybody, it's so iconic with you. Do you know how many
always
pieces
address the elephant in the room? I don't know, Stevie. I wish I knew how many bricks it has. If I had to guess, I don't know, 5,000 maybe. I really don't know. At least ton of bricks. But that project was like, like it's like my lifetime work as a Lego nerd. So I wish I knew. It's someday when it gets disassembled, I'll count all the bricks.
How long did it take? How long you fly? How long did it long did it take you to kind of assemble and gather everything and build?
See, so the gathering was the problem. It was about a 3 to 4 year project, but that was only because probably spent like the first several months of working on it, doing like rebuilds, kind of building it one way and then realizing, oh, the whole structure's wrong. I have to take this apart and do something else with it. And then just kind of like trial and erroring my way through, because that's the way I build. I know some people like to, when they do a mock, they do it online. They do it on like a virtual designer, a digital thing. I can't do that. Yeah. I need to play with the bricks, and I need to figure it out as I go. I don't have a visual of the entire model. I just know how I want to start it. So sometimes I get, halfway through a build and I realize, well, this is crap. This isn't working. I have to do this over again. So there was a lot of rebuilding, and then there was a lot of like blockages where I'd be like, I get to a certain point and like, I can't afford the bricks that I need, or B, I can't visualize how to get through this next part. So it would sit for like months or even a year at a time. But during like the quarantine lockdown last year was when I finished it. I had the time and I said, I'm just going to finish this project.
Is that why you haven't worked on any mocks for a while then? Just there is like, I'm so done with this.
Yeah, I did. I've done some small mocks. I did a WandaVision mock earlier this year. I did some Star Wars stuff. I did just start on a new mock, which will be pretty big. It's a building which is nowhere near as iconic as Avengers Tower. But for me, it's very special, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward.
Hints, or is that all we're getting for now?
Well, it's based on a bed and breakfast in a Hallmark original series. So
yes, we talked about this. Yes,
we did. Completely out of the realm of the normal nerd culture that I'm into. But for me, I felt like, just based on my bricks and my love of the season of fall, just kind of, it's almost like dollhouse style, which I think is really fun. Yeah. I mean, if you look at Avengers Tower that way, it's like a superhero dollhouse, but that's kind of like the thing that I really love building, is like big structures that look cool on the outside and then have detailed interiors that you can access, like the modular buildings, but different. So
I always forget as well that our first real interaction was beginning of this year, when I think you came second in the mock contest that Jack the Lego Lad and I did with your
what was that?
Dathomir. It was the Dathomir mock from
I still have that.
Dark Disciple.
Yes, from
I remember loving that.
Yes, I still have that built. Thank you. That was a lot of fun. Really inspired me to get building with that contest.
Do you know, I was thinking about that today, and I thought, God, like it's crazy. That was almost a year ago, because I think it was about January, February. We did that. But then we think about kind of everybody who was around back then, and just it's a weird space. Well, yeah, that's changed. One of them.
Yeah,
but even like his who won the contest, who made the chopper mock, with the move, and like he totally disappeared after that.
Wow.
And his whole thing was he was building them, designing the instructions and selling them through Rebrickable and other places. But he did kind of disappear after that. So a bit odd, but I suppose life gets in the way of these things, doesn't it, half of the time? But
it really does. You know, and I've had times where I feel like, you know what, I'm just going to end up disappearing into the ethos and then, you know, focus on my own builds and my own Lego stuff. But I don't want to disappear. I don't know if anyone even watches my content anymore, but I haven't been able to be very regular like I've been. Back in the beginning, it was a grind, and I was posting 3-4 times a day. I remember a week, actually, I talked to Dom, and he said he posts 5 times a day, and I posted 5 times a day for a week, and I was completely burned out after that. But you know, if I post once a day, that's a lot for me.
Yeah, I think Dom does what he does very well in that he's very kind of like off the cuff, like almost like in the moment, I've got this idea I'm going to create, and he does it very well. But that sort of content allows for quantity. Whereas I would put myself in the same kind of category as you, where it's almost like, okay, I've got this video I want to make. Now I want to figure it out in my head what it wants to be. And then I want to kind of like go through that process, think about it. So with that, it's far less spontaneous. And I don't know about you, but quite often I'll dwell on something so much, I'll get to a point where I get bored of the idea and I won't even make the video. So yeah, Dom does what he does very well, and I kind of applaud his ability to do that. By the way, John, I can see you recently posted. Just confirm to me that you're still here, because I did want to show you something. As soon as you do, I'll show you. We delayed the start of the stream by a whole 60 seconds just for you.
I'm excited to see what this is. John. John.
It's a bit sus, I must be honest, but it's a conversation John and I had. You may have actually seen the conversation.
Oh, I think I might have been there for that. Was that in our group chat?
Yes, the secret group chat. Yes, but yes, it could well be. So John Mayer,
no,
but but yeah, it's a good point really, though, about kind of where TikTok has kind of developed over this time, and then kind of what we're seeing a lot. I've certainly seen a lot this week is people now starting to talk about kind of quitting. I don't like it when people do this, when they actively say like, I'm quitting, because you know they're doing it for the clout, which then makes them stay. Then the clout goes away within like a video, and then a month down the line we get the same thing, and it becomes like a vicious circle. And then eventually when they actually think about leaving. But I'm also seeing like a bit of animosity towards like Lego TikTok community, and people saying like it's not what it was anymore and all of that. And like what are your observations on that? What are your kind of thoughts and feelings on that?
You know, especially it's hard for me to say because I've been really busy with a job I had for the last couple months. So I've been kind of disengaged anyway on my own. That's why I haven't made as many videos. But yeah, I do kind of see that it's not quite the same way that it was. I think you just got to keep doing your own thing. You know, like, the community's great. People will come and go. And I know that we've had our core group of friends that we interact with, and I'm cool with that. As long as Padawan Archer, as long as you guys keep making videos that I can duet and dance to and goofy things and alert me to sounds that I can use. We have our sound MVP Brick Pit, who's always bringing sounds to our attention. That's great. You know, so as long as you, I think, keep doing your own thing. But yeah, I think that it was a little bit different in like the last winter, early spring, that time.
Yeah, I think one very much Padawan Archer, both John and Aaron, almost like the soul of Lego TikTok. Like they kind of keep like the engine, keep the lights on, and like they just kind of keep kind of doing some quirky things, very in a very wholesome way, which I'm always appreciative of. I think what we have to take into perspective is ultimately at the beginning of the year, the whole world was locked down. So it was really easy. It was a perfect breeding ground for like a Lego TikTok environment. That's not the case anymore. And then we go from there. But John, whilst you're there, I know what you're thinking. So yes, I am wearing the TikTok leggings. You know, I might go live on TikTok after this.
Should have told me and I would have worn mine.
Damn it.
Damn it.
They're actually really comfortable. And if my wife's watching, I'll buy you another pair because I've probably stretched these ones out.
You know what I do have are my green Mermaid Man leggings. So I dressed up as Mermaid Man over the summer for a party, which was a very good time. Got to wear super comfy green tights and be a Mermaid Man.
They're surprisingly comfy. I get like, yeah. I mean, I get like restless legs. My wife always gets annoyed at me because I'm always like tapping my leg and tapping my foot. But with these on, you feel like a nice compression on your legs. So you're like, actually, it's quite relaxing. Oh. But yeah, we'll not kind of delve deeper into that. But yes, John, I am wearing them. The next step is to do the TikTok where I'm just laid on the bed like the TikTok girls do.
Well, remind me actually, because I do have a sound saved in my favorites that I think you should use. With those leggings. So I'll send that to you. I think that it could work.
Fantastic. But yeah, on Lego TikTok, I think what's interesting is those who have been very outspoken about it. I think of those that have kind of hit the brick wall themselves and they don't know what they want to be. Like this earlier this year, it was very easy to do. I think it's kind of it's become very saturated in some ways. I think at the same time, a lot of the support has gone. Like I think a lot of, we all did so well because there were so many younger people on there who were actively supporting us. And the good thing about TikTok is it allows them to feel included because they can create content along with us and make their videos and all of that and make their Lego. So it worked really well in that respect. But I think a lot of people are kind of, the younger ones are moving away from the app. So like there's a bit more of a fight for attention. It's just becoming like a different environment. But at the same time, I think it depends what you're doing this for, right? If you're doing it for fun, or even if you actively want to be part of it, you're doing it for fun, or you want to do it for kind of potential monetary gains and create a career out of this, you kind of have to, this will always happen. So you have to learn to develop and understand what the kind of the wants are and the needs and kind of move forward from that. But I think those who are struggling right now and are being vocal about it are those who almost expect the world to stay the same and to pander to them. Right. And that's never going to happen in any world. So yeah, it's a weird space. But I know with you, because I won't kind of delve too much and I don't know too much about it, but am I right in thinking you work in education?
Yes.
And from previous conversations, which I don't even know when they were, but I know you've kind of expressed the desire to bring Lego and education together into a career.
Yes.
How would you kind of envision that happening, and how close are you to that kind of manifesting, and kind of, is that kind of journey even started yet? And like,
no, kind of far. So the type of work that I'm in is high school counseling. So I don't know where I would think of like using Lego with like a high school student, but I think kind of in general, I really like the idea of using Lego with children for therapeutic purposes. Kids I think are more likely to open up and to speak to you and feel more comfortable when they have something to play with their hands. So you have kids playing with a group of, with a bunch of Lego, and maybe have them like building something that it could be anything, but they might be more likely to speak, and it can also help heal and deal with trauma. So I think like more from like that social emotional aspect is where I see Lego going with education.
Yeah, it definitely has a place alongside like counseling. You can certainly see it in that environment. But I think in like a high school environment, I definitely think there's a role to play, but almost from like a structural architectural perspective. So, like design technology or whatever kind of it, however you refer to it, you can use it a lot to kind of do mock-ups, like in the design rather than just kind of drawing something out, or using CAD or whatever it is to kind of design some engineering. Actually, how does that then manifest into a model? So there's definitely something in there as well. But I also think you take it further. It's so applicable in so many kind of subjects, isn't it? But
It really is. You use it for math. I don't know, history, but I've seen actually kids in high school use like Mindstorm sets, the motors and the electronics, to work with like STEM and technology to design like robots and things that like actually work out of like Technic bricks, and I think that's a really neat application too.
Yeah, it is, and I suppose Lego themselves, as they continue to develop their model and kind of bringing out new parts all of the time, that really lends itself to it. So that's pretty cool as well. But I suppose the question is kind of how do you get from like where you are now? Does that job exist for you to pursue, or is that something that you've essentially got to go and try and create yourself within everything you're doing today?
Yeah, it's essentially like that. It's more like trying to find a way to bring it into what I'm already planning to do. I think it would be pretty neat to try to find a way to get Lego into the office, just to kind of have something to draw your students in. I know even just this year, I spoke to some students who were into Lego, because I brought in actually my Everyone is Awesome set. And I think just having that on a desk shows, number one, it serves as like a pride symbol to show that you're an ally. It helps students identify with the LGBTQIA community, that you're someone who they can trust. But then also just they see the Lego of it and they're just like, oh, wow, that's cool. Like I played with Lego when I was a kid, or like I still have my childhood Lego. I don't know. I think it would be neat to have something that they could actually interact with rather than even just like a display on your shelf. But that's still kind of theoretical to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, it's probably easily done when you get there with your thinking. I think you can realize that pretty easy. It's if you could ever get a budget for it, you could even just stock up with a load of like those $5, $6 poly bags that you get in Walmart, Target, wherever you get them from. And just like a kid comes in and be like, look, talk to me. While you talk to me, open that and build yourself a little Imperial shuttle.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, they can keep it and take it, So there's all sorts you can do. It is quite interesting though. And I feel like everything I've done. So at work, like what you would usually see upstairs is the backdrop of my office. Like when I'm on video calls at work, because I work from home, like everybody sees all my Lego Star Wars stuff on 5-6 times a day on work calls.
Right.
And the amount of people in that time who were like, oh yeah, like I collect Lego. Like I've started getting Lego too as well. And it almost becomes like a safety net for them, to like a comfort blanket for them to come out as like a Lego collector. Because obviously there's when you've gone back into it and you're not more in the community, people, there's almost a bit of somewhat like shame in it, but actually then you get into the community and you think actually it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And there's probably more adults collect than anything else. But I'm doing my like Christmas drinks in a couple of weeks, which is quite scary, but we're going to London for it because my team is scattered all over the country. So we're meeting in London. And all of my team are like, "Oh, should we go to the Lego store?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course we should. Like, why not? Go for
That's
drinks
awesome.
and go to the Lego store." But
is that like a British thing? You do Christmas drinks? Is that just like a tradition?
Oh yeah, we get smashed, man.
Sounds great.
So, like, our company will give us like a £30 budget. They'll pay for my travel, so they've paid my train to and from London. We do like a little team meeting, which is basically to serve the purpose to get the travel budget. Then they'll give us £30 to spend on food and drinks. Then anything after that, you pay for yourself. In London, it's quite expensive, but you don't mind. But yeah, that's what we do. It was better when I worked in a like local regional team. So like you would all go out together in like your local area, and they were wild. Like big teams, there was always some shenanigans going on. There was always someone sneaking off with someone. But yeah, Christmas work nights out are the best. Do you not have those?
Not that, no, not really. You know, I guess I haven't really worked in any sort of office or company type of situation. So, you know, not something that I've had a lot of experience with. But people will get together, you know, with their friends at work and go do something, I guess, you know. But no, it's never really been anything that I've done. I'm not going out and, you know, it's not really much of my scene. I'm a once in a while, you know, go to a bar or whatever, but, you know, not something I do too often anyway.
Okay. So yeah, when it comes to Christmas, I'm running out of weekends and nights to like, people are like, should we go out? Like a lot of people will only see each other at Christmas here just for the excuse of going for a drink.
Oh.
Given our pubs were closed for 6 months of the year, that's kind of added
true?
to it as well.
Is that a COVID thing or?
Yeah, they were closed from like New Year's Day. I think it was till about April, May. They were closed. Then nightclubs only reopened in like July. But there's talk of like we should go back into lockdown and all that. Like nobody really knows what to do, but
no
like,
one does.
At the same time, we just don't know what to do. But yeah, we love a drink over here.
Sounds great. Definitely know how to party.
I've even considered sorting out like it'd be too hard to do because we are literally all scattered all over the country, but I have even considered trying to sort out like a British Lego TikTok, like Christmas drink somewhere. Because the good thing we have here, Matt, is although we're scattered all over the country, we're probably only like 3 hours away from each other. Like that's the same state for you guys. So so we can all jump on a train, meet in a central place.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too hard for you.
No, get lashed and then get the train home and or go to the Lego store really drunk and get back from the Lego store.
No, if I did that, I don't let me have my credit card because I'll be coming home with, you know, the AT-AT or something.
Sat on the train with like an
UCF
net.
Yep.
Don't mind me.
No. I'll live vicariously through you if you do that because I really wish we could have a stateside Lego TikTokers meetup. It's just again we're scattered out and it's like a plane ride, you know, far away. So Lego Lashed. Isn't that a Lord of the Rings character, Lego Lash?
It's the Comic-Con version, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good shout, Stevie. Good shout. But yeah, it's a good environment to be in. You just need this is why Maddie loves the UK and Europe because we just our whole culture revolves around like alcohol. Like let's do business. Let's go to the pub. Let's sort this thing out. Yeah, let's go to the pub. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, let's go to the pub. But that obviously our whole thing is very different. Like there are pubs everywhere. Like they were just See, look, John is on it with you.
Let's do it. Matticus.
So yeah, let's do it.
I'm in, John. I don't know how we're gonna do it. We got to get you and Dom and you and Aaron and everybody. I don't know. Let's just send out a all alert. I don't know. I don't even know where we meet.
I will fly in for it.
That'd be amazing. I guess we'd have to meet in like the middle of the country because
well, everybody's on the coasts, right? Like everybody's either on the East Coast.
Yeah, we have a couple of Midwestern, Uvalde in Colorado, but yeah, all kind of spread out.
She's in the UK next week.
Oh, there you go. You got to have a meetup.
She's actually English.
She is. She is.
So yeah, yeah, that's why I did think actually, because I was wondering, it's probably too late for us now, but I was thinking, could we do it while she's here? And then like all of the British TikTok, like Lego TikTok, take Ellie on the drink. Because I think she could go. I think she could drink with us, to be fair.
I think
she's got that good Yorkshire blood.
She could outlast you all, probably.
We'd have good fun trying, that'd be for sure. But yeah.
I wouldn't last more than a couple drinks. I'd be out, but
I didn't ask you actually. I know we spoke about it beforehand, but I'm on a nice Italian beer called Poretti. which is very nice, not Moretti. But what are you drinking this evening?
This is just an afternoon cup of coffee in my my friend's mug here.
Is it coffee?
We'll go with that.
Okay. I do love that mug, and I do really. I was seeing you beforehand. I would love that set.
It's great.
But that you can't. I would love to get that set with that mug, and that it pains me that you can't get that anymore. But
No.
Speaking of new sets, I think it's pretty much all but confirmed. But next weekend is going to be a double VIP points weekend.
It is.
Obviously before the AT-AT comes out.
Makes sense. We'll be a great time to buy it. Am I going to buy anything?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not. I kind of have exceeded my Lego budget for a while, and I've given some ideas out to the family and girlfriend for gifts to buy. So I'm kind of you guys surprised me. If I were to buy, what I wanted to buy is the gingerbread house before it retires. It's already sold out, at least on Lego.com. So I may try to track that down, see if Target or somewhere has it. But I don't know. I don't really have any plans for double VIP points. I've kind of bought all of the large sets that I would consider currently affordable. So how about you? Anything maybe planned?
There are quite a few sets that I would like, and I may take it as an opportunity to pick up some smaller sets.
Okay.
So the Everyone is Awesome set, it's one of those that, because it's fairly new, it's fairly cheap, it's very easy for me to pick up. So it's one that I just always think, I'll get it later. Bit like the Friends set, it's relatively cheap. And I think, do I just get it later? But then it almost gets to the point where it's retiring and it's probably out of stock. And you're like, So yes, I think I'll probably spend maybe £100 to £150 picking up 4, 5 smaller sets, but we'll see. But I do think as well, next weekend is the one where I would be saying to my wife, here's my wish list, here's my barcode for my VIP, go to the Lego store and buy me whatever you're going to buy me off that list. And please use my points. Please use my barcode. So
yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll give my card to my girlfriend and tell her to go to the Lego store and just go nuts.
Yes. This is the weekend to be bought Lego for. But if you're part of the VIP, then you absolutely want to give them your points, give them your card.
Smart. I know. I feel like I should just automatically give them the code. So anytime, they want to buy something, it's just there. But
yeah, absolutely. You could probably, because I've got mine saved on my phone. So it comes up in my Apple Wallet. You could probably just log them into that and have it on multiple devices.
Probably. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. I'm old school. I have the old card.
Is Mrs. Opie, if Mrs. Opie is here, that was a mega big UCS Falcon. She's not here, Stevie, because she's currently in Benidorm with her friends on the sesh. So I very much doubt she'll be sat in here watching me go live. Is your list just the Falcon 12 times? I think I would prefer the Star Destroyer before the Falcon.
I think I would too.
But it's quite no disrespect to him whatsoever, and I'm over the moon that he got it. But it's hurt me a little bit that Rolo's got it, because I just thought Rolo never actually buys Lego. Then all of a sudden he's went and bought the UCS Falcon, and I'm like, damn, I wanted that. But I feel like it's motivating me to get it, but I need to be sensible.
He never buys Lego. What does he do? Does he just get gifted, or does he just live on what he's got?
Not even that, really. I mean, he has an awesome Lego collection, but he's currently at uni. So I think that's actually how he's bought it. I think he's bought it with his student loan. But he's but he does have an awesome collection, but he just, whilst he's at uni, doesn't buy. He bought some charity shop stuff a while back. But yeah, he doesn't, obviously when you're a student.
That's what I should have done. I spent all that money on textbooks for college and I never read them. I got all that money, from the school or whatever, from grants or scholarships. I should have just, saved up and bought the Death Star.
Exactly.
Probably.
At the very least, it would have been resellable now at probably a greater price.
Yeah, that's why, for investment purposes. Yeah, not for me to just build and play with all day.
Any sets, even like forgetting about double points weekend, but are there any sets right there now that you're eyeing up and thinking, yeah, I do want that?
Yeah, so pretty much my Christmas wish list and things that I've been like, oh, these are sets I really want. I really still want the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Would love to have that on a shelf. And also, I'd like the question mark block from Super Mario. Very cool. I want the Guardians ship, the Benatar. Love that. What else has been pretty cool? I still haven't got Moff Gideon's Light Cruiser. It's on sale at Target right now, but again, I'm trying to be smart and save a budget for buying people Christmas presents. I still want the UCS Batwing. The retro Batmobile too would be neat. I don't know. I can't think of anything else really that's standing out as like I really want that. But yeah, no, not much. Just only like $1,000 worth.
$1,000 worth of Lego.
$1,000 worth. Yeah, could keep going. I could. Ninjago City Gardens would be cool. I don't even know. There's so much.
Yeah, that's the problem, and that's why I try to focus myself in on Star Wars and kind of convince myself that's all I'm getting. But then obviously you see so many other things, and you're like, "That's cool. I like that." And they're so good at pulling you in, and that at the minute Lego they're just producing new sets and new themes. Like the Friends set, and then how they've evolved that into like the Seinfeld, and they're bringing the Office out, and like that. Where the
Queer Eye set.
Of that is,
I don't even watch Queer Eye, and that set is gorgeous. I want that set. Like, it just looks like a fun. They're all just fun. And then meanwhile, I'm staring at my pile of like 15 or so Lego sets that are not built under my desk. So, but it's funny you say there's all those new sets that I admire your dedication to Star Wars and your ability to keep it to that theme. For me, it's like I need a little of everything. I collect all of the modulars every year. I still haven't gotten the police set. But then I like vintage sets. I buy at my vintage collections. There are still sets from the 90s I want to buy. So it's like, how do I balance it all?
Yeah, and I have so much OCD for completing a collection. And that's my problem. So if I go then really start getting into Marvel and Batman and this and that, the problem I'll have then is I'll have to collect it all or try and collect it all. It will bankrupt me. So at least with Star Wars, then I'm like, right, okay, I'll only collect Star Wars. But then I never had the intention of collecting any Clone Wars stuff because I'm not really a prequels guy. TikTok kind of made me do it.
TikTok did make me do it too.
Yeah. So then I sold everything, and now I'm thinking, right, let's focus in. But then that's why I've made this decision to, okay, not strictly UCS, but let's get more display stuff rather than just kind of like all the play sets. But I still have a load of play sets. So
yeah, too good.
But it's
too
just
fun.
But then I do look at like the Nintendo stuff, and all that, and you're like, there's some good sets out there. I love that Winnie the Pooh set, and I still want that.
Yeah. For me, it was always exclusively minifigure sets. Like I only like minifigure scale because I love minifigures. I always say if I could only collect one Lego thing, it would be minifigures. I could give up everything else and just collect minifigs. But recently I've gotten into the stuff like the Aston Martin. Like I'm looking right now. I have the Yoda and Grogu buildable sets. I'm starting to get into the more buildable models, like even like the helmets and the Infinity Gauntlet. So that's a new world for me of things that I normally wouldn't collect.
Yeah, and I've so exactly the Infinity Gauntlet is now in my Lego wish list, along with the Carnage Venom helmet and the Iron Man helmet, and the Iron Man helmet is retiring. I've always said as well, I wasn't bothered about the Sith and Lego Man art. Now I'm like, actually, if I'm going to display,
now
they all retire. this year. So I'm like, oh, what have I done? This is
Now that
awful.
they're retiring, I want them. So.
Well, this is we always want what we can't have. Do you know anything about this, or does anybody in the chat? So Lego's starting to sell retired sets in their stores.
That had to be a fever dream.
I can't imagine they would do that. Are we talking about like old sets or reproducing them? Because I can't see them reproducing because there'll be a lot of retired parts.
Yeah, like once in a blue moon they'll bring back a set, but it doesn't happen too often. Normally, what you'd see is like a redo of a set. So, but you know what? Maybe lend some something to that rumor. I know that there was like a lot of promo videos recently that Lego's released, like little ads where there was a thing with the knight. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, where he's like walking and right. It's like a Lego Rebuild the World campaign. You can see a piece of the original modular building, the cafe corner from 2008 in the corner. And then you also in two of the ads, you can see a monorail going around. And of course, anybody who's following my content long enough knows how much I love monorails.
I absolutely remember that because I can remember you being like, is that a monorail? That's a monorail?
It's right? Monorail. Like, what? Are we getting a new monorail? So I don't know if that means we're getting like a new release or a remake. I know that rumor has it, a pretty strong rumor, that the modular building this year is going to be a hotel. So it may look similar to that Cafe Corner original modular. Yeah. Maybe we're going to get some sort of new version of the monorail, not like a re-release, but some kind of new thing. So I'd totally be on board for that.
Yeah. That's modulars, like cities, like they look so cool, but I just can't allow myself to get into those because they are a rabbit hole of, well, for money, basically.
It is. You're going to go down the rabbit hole.
Just going to see
yeah, I was going to say, hey, Jesse.
Hey, just people who are still in. Anakin Stud Shooter, Tom, Stevie's still around, John's still around, Christ of FIFA, Harvey. Hope you had a good day at Comic-Con today. So Harvey, it's like British Comic-Con today, Matt. Harvey got to meet Ian McDermott and Hayden Christensen.
Wow. Nice.
Good day for Harvey. But,
very good. Yeah, that's really cool.
Hey guys, of course, it's Bebo or Brixia Pennies, of course. Anybody else, last call, but quick shout to everybody whilst you're in there. Just as I said, this is me putting my YouTube streaming hat on and being more efficient, but don't forget to hit that like, give the stream some love, because this is what we do, this is what we love, this is what we want to do. I don't know what difference it makes, but it's all good. But yeah, anyway, but yeah, I suppose you've started to kind of answer the question, but moving forward, we kind of know what we're getting from Star Wars, but I always feel like Star Wars stuff, it tends to be quite underwhelming because there's no real Star Wars. Whilst we are getting new Star Wars content, it's all in a very small little universe. So it tends to just be another version of something we've already seen before. Even with the sequels, we got like the First Order's version of all the Imperial sets and all that. So they weren't mega exciting. But would, like, thinking wholly with Lego, is there anything that you would love to see? And this is interesting from you as a mock builder. Is there anything you would love to see them do?
I could answer that, but even first, like, since you got me thinking about Star Wars, I think they've pretty much exhausted most of the ships, and we get new versions of ships every now and then. But I think we've had this conversation before. Where is our what's that, like the cantina style build of an Ewok village or the Gungan city from the Phantom Menace? Like, I want those sets, and they've never done that. So I think that there's still areas that they could explore.
Jedi Temple? Yeah,
Jedi Temple. How about Illume, the Gathering on Illume? Getting the crystals. Yeah, give us more Ewok Village. Even another Ewok Village. That's been like 9 years since that set was out.
Yeah, it's interesting as well because the original one is like, I do think the Ewok Village is a brilliant set. Like the way they structured it, I think it's brilliant. The figs in there, but by today's standards, it's probably Master Builder series than which is absolutely fine.
Fine. I love that it's called Master Builder.
But this is the irony. We'll probably get that before we get, as we touched on. I was talking about this on TikTok beforehand. I think the gunship is only the third UCS set that is from the prequels. So you've got the gunship, the Naboo starfighter, and the Darth Maul bust. They're the only three I can think of.
I think they did an Obi-Wan starfighter.
Yes, they did. So 4. But then you've got like 20 odd UCS sets in total. Might be even pushing 30 now.
Prequels.
So, but there are none from the sequels.
None from the sequels. Yep. But I think they've done such a great job on the sequel sets. I don't know if that's a controversial opinion, but like I'm looking right now at my Kylo Ren shuttle from episode 9, and that's a damn near perfect set. Like you can't do a better version of that. Even Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter, damn near perfect set. Like I don't know really what there would be from the sequels that would be iconic enough that you would necessarily need a UCS version.
That would probably be the only one that sticks out to me. I mean, you could see like the First Order 8080, but considering we're only now just getting the Imperial one, that's a long way off. The First Order Star Destroyer, okay, maybe. Okay. First Order. Oh, sorry, you could do Star Killer Base. Like, is it?
You know what they do? Like Star Killer Base would be really good. Big. But you know what they do is do Snoke's Star Destroyer, but have it be split in half with Holdo's ship, like, have it like literally UCS Holdo maneuver would I'd explode from like, nerdiness. It'd be like a nerdgasm. I would just be like, I need this. Like
no, that would be quite cool actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I don't think anything, knowing Lego, they'd probably do a UCS Millennium Falcon sequels edition. That's what they'd probably do, wouldn't they? But
they let you swap it out. They have like alternative things so you can actually swap out with the new one and make it look like. But they did do. I don't know if it counts as UCS, but they did the Porg. They did BB-8 and they did Dio. So those are like buildable. I don't know if that kind of counts, but
I think
it's not really UCS.
No, they're like the display sets, aren't they? A bit like Yoda and Grogu and stuff.
Right.
But I think they needed one more in there because they did the Porg, Dio, BB-8, but they should have done BB-9E as well. I think people actually especially Battlefront 2 players, love BB-9E. So like they should have done that. But never mind. Sorry, Anakin saying, do America get the Lego magazines? No, they don't. But we know that, Matticus, because
not unless you send them to me.
But what did you have any? Because I know you were considering kind of seeking to move some on and sell them. How did all that go? Because you're a Bricklink seller as well, right?
They are, and my Bricklink store is still closed because I need to update it, and I haven't had the time to really work on it. And my magazines are still sitting in the shipping box that Maddie sent them to me. I haven't opened any of the bags yet, so it's like I'm kind of just like saving them, waiting to see what I want to do with them. But I probably will be reselling at least some of the foil bags, that I have extras of. But yeah, I think that they're really cool. I really want to look through the plant-based one that you sent me and look for some new plant building techniques. But yeah, they're very cool. I love that they have those.
I believe there's a rumor that because we've got so many magazines now, you get Star Wars, like these monthly, you get Star Wars City XL, Explorer, which was the plant one.
Right.
Then you get alternative months, you get Jurassic World. Oh, sorry, you get 2 Ninjago magazines every month as well.
Superheroes.
Yeah, so Marvel rotates with DC. But I think I've heard that they're bringing out a Harry Potter one, which when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's long overdue. And although I don't...
Friends. Don't forget the Friends magazine.
There's a princess one. So
there's a princess one too, right?
Oh, yeah, look, Friends too, I think.
Friends too.
So could well be. But there's some stores you go to won't stock. Like all of them, they only get in the ones that seem to sell well. So then you go to another store and you're like, oh, I didn't realize there were. Or Technics as well. I only found that one last week. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a Technic guy, and it really like it's just not for me.
No, I'm although I do appreciate some of the more recent Technic stuff, like the Land Rover, and like I love some of the vehicle stuff. It's
like
not something I'm gonna go after. This is true though. Like they suck you in because they're £4 each, but you could go in every month and spend £30 on magazines if you were to buy them all. But they are good if you want to kind of resell them. But yeah, Evening Henry. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
In there. But yeah, is it one of those things that for you kind of life is getting in the way a little bit and new job and all that?
It's that. It's time. It's like there are so many things that I like to do. It's like, you know, I like to spend time with my girlfriend when I can, you know, try to do stuff with my family. But, you know, even when I have time for Lego, it's like I want to work on TikToks, or I want to work on restoring old collections like I have. I want to work on a mock. I want to build a new set. You know, and then I spend time playing video games too. So there's just so much. Like it feels like there's not really enough time to do everything.
So what? Because I've never really talked about video games. But which console do you play? Or what are you on?
Mostly Switch. I have a Nintendo Switch. Okay. Big Nintendo guy. I have a PS4. But yeah, I love Nintendo. Right now, you know what I'm actually playing right now? I don't know. Do you have a Switch? Are you into Nintendo? Is that?
I love Nintendo, and I don't have a Switch, but it's one of those I've considered saying to my wife, because she's not bothered about video games, but she used to love the Wii, as all women do.
It's incredibly accessible.
And I just think, like, we could get one of those, and then we do it together, because they're a very different style of game, aren't they? So
absolutely.
Yeah,
my girlfriend, like she'll love to play like Switch with me. We'll do Mario Kart and, you know, whatever. But recently there's the controversial update, I don't know if you heard about, where you can spend, instead of spending $20 a year for their online membership, you can spend $50 a year for the online membership, and you get Nintendo 64 games. But it also includes the update for Animal Crossing, which I do play. I haven't played the update yet. For me, it was worth it. For other people, they were like, this is garbage, I'm not paying this, but pay the $50. So now I have access to, they have a library, I think it's like 9 or 11 N64 games. So I'm playing The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for probably the 100th time.
What a game.
I can't play that game enough. I have a deep, actually, personal connection to that game, personally. When I was a kid, my grandfather was the kind of guy who wanted to get into things. Like, he had a workshop, he did magic tricks, but if he wanted to learn about something, he got really into it, and he got a Nintendo 64 as an older gentleman and just started playing video games. So
nice.
It was so cool that, like, you know, everybody else was like, you know, whatever they were about their grandfather, but like, yeah, my grandpa, my pop-up plays video games. So we would play The Legend of Zelda together, and he taught me and my fellow cousins all about it. And so every time I play this game, it kind of like just makes me think of my grandfather, and, you know, takes me back to that when he was around.
That's cool, man.
So,
it's such a good game, but it's amazing how much those connections just kind of make it for us, like the little things. And I know, like, Zane, who's kind of live on the other channel right now, which we don't talk about, but he, you know, the Millennium Falcon will always be his kind of number one set, because it was pretty much the last conversation he had with his father before his dad died, where he'd said, like, look, I've finished my set, and his dad was like, that's so cool. And then kind of the next day, that was it. So it's amazing how much those kind of connections, like, what, for whatever reason. But yeah, I totally feel that. But I do think as well, like, I still have my Nintendo 64. I think it's in the loft. I don't even think it works on the TV.
You can, I don't know. Do you have like the AV plugins for your TV?
I think so. But the problem is, when you've got 50-inch TVs, the Nintendo 64 resolution, like
It's not
you
great.
can't make it out. It's like playing Minecraft. Like it's
that's why on the Switch it works pretty well. I mean, they not necessarily remaster it, but it's formatted for the TV, so it looks good. And
do they have the Pokemon games on there? Because Nintendo always did really cool Pokemon games.
Not yet. So they have your usual suspects. They have Super Mario 64, Dr. Mario, Star Fox.
Star Fox, what a game! You're
Yeah,
bringing back my youth here.
They are saying that Majora's Mask is coming. They're actually going to put Banjo-Kazooie out, which is great. Banjo-Kazooie is one of my huge childhood games. But they've said that what? Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark isn't on yet, but probably will. So they've said like that this is just what they have at launch, and they will continue to add Nintendo 64 games to their catalog, just like they do every month with the NES games and the SNES games.
With the Switch, can you play online with friends as well?
Yes, depends on the game. Mario Kart 64. So, for example, they've added online connectivity for the new release of Mario Kart 64. So you could play the new Mario Kart online with friends, but you can now play retro Mario Kart online with friends who also have access to the N64. So that's pretty neat. I
feel like this year, so my wife and I haven't decided like on a budget or anything for Christmas. And I feel like I'm not really like I'm at that point whereby I'm grateful of whatever I get, but at the same time, I'm not really bothered anymore. It's like I can buy everything I really want and all that, and I don't want to ask for too much. But I think like should we just kind of go? I feel like she'd be reluctant, but then if she got it, she'd be really into it because it's something we could really do together. It's like put it in the living room and sit and play like that with each other. So I'm going to push and say like, should we just go halfies on a Switch and do that? But
Mario Kart, Mario Party could be fun. Just easy little mini games to play with each other. I think that'd be, real fun place to start.
Indeed. Looking forward though, with you touched on it there, obviously the one to kind of do more Lego and do more like TikTok stuff.
Yes.
What you're on now, like 220 odd thousand followers on?
Yeah, 229 and a half. I've been stuck at for a while, so almost at the 230, which is pretty great.
Considering you haven't been posting as much, you've done well to kind of maintain that number because people unfollow very quickly as well.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got a bigger audience to maintain. But you're somewhat growing. I see when you're kind of a little bit motivated because you do a little bit on Instagram as well. I do think you're made for Instagram more than because of your mocks. Like if you really were in there, you've got that photography. People love pictures. I forgot that. People love a picture.
And that's like, yeah. I need to make sure I build more time into my schedule, my Lego schedule for mocking. It's like I have all these projects, so I actually will show you something. So I have right here, like this is the bin of all the Lego I've been sorting, used, and then the other day I picked up some Lego from a guy locally for like $20. Got a couple of these classic beauties.
They're not cheap each, are they?
They are not cheap. They're worth about $20 each themselves, and he just threw them in. And I have these 3 cases of vintage Lego. So I'm always looking for like secondhand deals like that on top of like building and collecting new sets. So it's like, where do I find the time to like do my own original creations?
Yeah. But as you see, you've got a lot of backlog, so you can quite easily feed your profile a bit. But as you see it, time is the most precious commodity. And it's the one thing that as you get older, you realize you can always earn more money. You can always buy more stuff, but you will never get more time. Like our time on this earth is somewhat predefined. Like you are limited. So making the most of it is really important, but then it's important as well to understand what is important to you. So like you see it, like spending time with friends, family, your girlfriend, like that will always kind of come first. But where, we're almost at the point where we start looking at New Year's resolutions and plans for 2022. When you think about your social media presence as a whole with Lego, what if you could, what would you like to achieve, and what would you like 2022 to be for you within that space?
I think I just want to really embrace like what I've been successful with, and maybe just keep going with TikTok. I don't know. Like, I've tried to branch out into other things. Quick plug, if you want to subscribe to me on YouTube, I have one YouTube video. I have another YouTube video, or another video that's been sitting in my phone unedited for 2 months. So maybe I'll upload a second video at some point, but just like the time that goes into that, and Instagram, yeah, maybe once I find more time to build mocks, I'll keep putting all that out there. But for the most part, the thing that's most easy for me to keep updated with is TikTok. And just because of the fast-paced nature of it, that's the thing that I will be able to continue to regularly post with. So maybe that's where I should put my best energy when it comes to my Lego social media presence. And I've also been able to earn money from there. So, you know, and I've connected with an audience, and I've connected with a community, all of you, you know, the great people that I've been able to meet with. So TikTok has been the best for me. So why not just focus on that as my number one? I don't think TikTok is going anywhere. People think that TikTok's not going to last forever. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
I don't think TikTok's going anywhere, but I do sometimes question as what, like, I'm not skeptical about it, but I do sit and ponder, like, what will Lego TikTok be in the future, and do you have to be less about Lego? That's why I've kind of started to broaden out a little bit more and be a bit more about just kind of Star Wars and Marvel in general, and kind of talk about those sort of things. But I think we've all got, like, we're all Star Wars fans, we're all Marvel fans, we're all, like, there's so much more to us with that. And we think all we can do is Lego. But actually, you know, what I've found is actually when I start talking about other things, people listen as well, because a lot of Lego fans are Star Wars. They're Lego fans because they collect Lego Star Wars, because they're Star Wars fans. So they want to kind of, so there is an opportunity. And I think that's kind of where the future is, because when people talk about Lego TikTok dying, it's because it's near on impossible to knock out 3 to 5 videos a day, every day for over a year, and still have like original, fresh content. Unless you're Matt Mellish, of course, who just seems to be able to reinvent himself every like 3 months. But he's kind of born to do this, isn't he? But I just think, I think there's more to do that. But what I've kind of learned probably over the last 3 months or so is the difference in expectation between TikTok and Instagram. And that's how I was able to grow my Instagram. What I'm still figuring out, though, is I do this, and I've always got my kind of core viewers and followers, and then tends to be, depending on who the viewer is, the guest is, people will kind of come in relevant to them, which is always cool. But then it's kind of like, how do I get people to watch my videos? And I think it's almost the same logic, right? With YouTube, it's just, you have to just be little and often. Like, I think with the YouTube, I've got me knocking out a 10-minute, 20-minute video, but even like a 3-minute update every other day goes a long way, and it just gets people used to watching you. And that's very true of TikTok. People get used to watching your videos, and that's what keeps them tuned in.
I agree. It's like, you know, building those connections, you know, having that regular involvement. So I don't know. It's tough to say. I wish that it was easier to make YouTube content, because I know that there's a very strong Lego community on YouTube.
There is. And that is almost somewhat daunting, though, isn't it? Because it's like, how do I muscle into this community? Because it's almost like, if I want a piece of the pie, I have to be part of the community. I can't go against the grain. But then how do I be different to others? But actually, the community is great. Certainly here in the UK, it's a difficult one. But I do think at the same time, 6-7 months ago, I probably had the same perceptions of Instagram, and 12 months ago, I probably had the same perceptions of TikTok as well. So it's kind of like, all right, okay, just get on with it. I feel like that's the mentality to have, because look where we both are now compared to where we were 12 months ago. But time is always the killer. And I feel if you want to pick one up, the others have got to suffer for it. And I don't know if I've got that in me yet.
I agree. And that's kind of where I came, where I was going to try to do a lot more. I was going to do like one YouTube video a month. That was going to be my goal, which isn't even a lot, but it's something. And I found I spend all this time doing YouTube, especially with working a job. I'm not going to have time to do anything for TikTok at all. Like it'll just be entirely YouTube. And I don't know if that's really worth it. I'd rather continue going with what I've been doing.
I feel like when you get there on YouTube, it is worth it. It's certainly more worth it than TikTok. But they're making it so much more difficult for you to get there now.
Right.
Like, was it so like 1,000 subs, which I've got here, but like 4,000 watched hours? I thought that's not too bad. But like when obviously I'm the main content I make is this, and it's amazing how slowly that dial moves. Like it shows you how many hours watched you've got. And that dial moves so slowly, and you're like, "What? How do I do this?" But essentially,
pay attention to me.
it's somewhat difficult because it's like, okay, I've got like 1,200 followers, but then you're not getting like 1,200 views. But that's again is true of all platforms. Like your subscriber follower base doesn't truly represent your audience. So, but the one thing I would say and I say this to everyone, if you want to branch out, and everybody says this, but it's so true, and this is what kind of propelled me to where I am now, is your TikToks, you should be sharing as reels and shorts without the watermark. It's amazing how much they kind of give traction for everything.
And it's been so tough because I try to remember what you say and screen record my stuff before posting it. But a lot of times it's just like I'm running and I'm going and I'm like, oh, I need to post a TikTok. And I hit that button and it's like, well, then it's gone. It's out there. So it's hard. And now I've had stuff saved up and I also haven't been keeping up with posting it on like Instagram or I haven't even posted a single reel to YouTube. So maybe I should start with that. I don't know. That's a place to start.
It's a good place to start. It's amazing how when you start with reels, the views are shocking. You think like TikTok is bad when you start, but reels is so bad. But then now, once you build traction, reels are so good. Like the traction I've built is brilliant. And like 1 million view reels. Wow. Are like, you get like one a week sometimes, and they obviously are so good for viewership and all that. But I think as well, brands still see Instagram as the platform. Like nobody cared that I had 50,000 followers on TikTok. The day I hit 10,000 followers on Instagram, like Disney got in touch. So like that's a flex. I mean, I'll take
I know. You got that really cool swag box from Disney. That's awesome.
Mate, I priced that up, The suitcase alone was worth like £195. The Grogu was at £80. That whole box was worth about £300 to £400.
So what you're telling me is I really got to build up my Instagram presence. That's the one that I got to really focus on for next year. 100%. Maybe that's what I do. Maybe that's the goal. Maybe that's my New Year's resolution is to focus on Instagram.
100%. 100% has to be done.
Keep going with TikTok and then record my reels and just like
use it. Like use TikTok as your driving force and your motivation, but then use that screen record. Literally just drop out of TikTok, hit post, drop out of TikTok and post it straight into Reels. You don't even have to use hashtags on Reels. Right. Let them go. No, I don't even. I'm so lazy with them now. But they go like I share them into my story and I make a bit of a graphic with my story. I don't even know if people hit the reel to watch it. I don't know. Like but I do it because I enjoy making the little graphics and making them quite creative. But yeah, that's the way.
Yeah.
Before we get into the final 5 minutes, because that is absolutely flown over, Matt. But we've got Liza Bricks in the house.
Liza Bricks.
Shout out.
What's up, Liza?
Elizabeth Manzano. Hello, Elizabeth. You did make it with 10 minutes to go, but
isn't that
nonetheless. That's what's important. Could always read. So could always re-download the TikTok without the watermark if you post there first. If you post on TikTok, you can't re-download it without the watermark. But there are apps you can use. But I thought they were really clever and edited it out. But all they do is they crop it. So you've got to be really careful with those, because especially if you've got text on the screen,
it totally ruins your video.
You can kind of lose context. So yeah, it's a bit funny in that sense. That's some great insights to Harvey knows. I feel like Harvey, so Darth Walker, I feel like next year is going to be your year. I know you've done great this year, Harvey, but I feel like you've learned a lot, both within like social media itself, but also, and I know you're coming on in a couple of weeks, so we'll talk about this, but I feel like you've learned a lot about like Star Wars, but also I feel like how you articulate that. I think that's the big thing when I watch your content. So I'm interested to see and keep an eye on you next year. And obviously we'll have you on in a couple of weeks and we'll talk more. But yeah, John says it's been awesome. Of course it is. And a little tip for next week, we have not only John, but we have Erin joining us as well. So
I'll be tuning in for that. Oh man, I love them.
It's do you know, it'll be the last one for a while, because I've been on a bit of an American run. So I need to get some Brits back on, but we do have some British creators lined up, but they're actually going to be midweek. So I'm looking forward to some Wednesday night streams as well.
Nice.
So apparently TickMate is a website that works to download without a watermark. Not sure how safe it is though. I'll have a look, but I'm sure what they do is the one that I've seen, and I don't know if it's that, but they basically crop the thing to cut it out, which isn't always the same in that respect.
Nope.
Before we go into final thoughts, guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button and show the stream some love. And there's a lot of information in the description as well for Matticus. So I've put your beacons in there. Oh, guys, all my stuff's in there.
Thank you.
I know you all follow, but I would definitely recommend let's get behind Matticus, especially on Instagram, because I want to see more Matt on Instagram.
Thank you. Thanks. I'll try to get more on Instagram.
I want to see more like kind of photography. I like, for starters, have you ever posted your Dathomir mark?
I did a while ago, actually, after your contest.
Okay. So we definitely...
I could repost it, I guess. You know.
Absolutely. Just normalize daily posting. But but yeah, definitely get on that. But let's show some love and support as we do with everyone. But yeah, we touched a little bit there on kind of what you would like to do, but it's almost Christmas. Like, what does Christmas have in store for you, and what does it have in store for you as a content creator?
I don't know. I really want to do some Christmassy content. I have an advent calendar, so I might mess around with that and do what everyone else is doing. But I don't know. I don't really know. I don't have anything planned for Christmas. I do know that my temporary job ended, so now I have a lot more free time for a little bit of the future, maybe through the new year. So I do want to get more on TikTok. I want to have some more content coming. I do have ideas now for at least the next week. So, you know, I want to do that. And I want to also make more time to do more mocks and try to just, I don't know. I want to spend more time with my Lego, especially because it's colder outside, winter, you know, want to be more inside cozy buildings. So I don't know. Just keep your eyes on things, because I do want to have some stuff coming.
We shall. And I'll keep you honest. I know you and Maddie almost kind of, you're each other's like buddy. And if you're ever wandering off the path, she was telling us about this, that she'll kind of be like, you'll kind of keep each other in check, which is really cool. Yeah. But yeah, I think I totally get that life always comes first, like work and then girlfriend, like absolutely totally get that. But I know for you, probably more than most, and certainly more than me, like your Lego is such a passion for you, but you're so creative with it. You're so, like, I feel like it gives you so much more than it does others. Especially, you know, you did the video a couple of weeks ago about like you were having a bad day, your girlfriend bought your Lego, you sat down, you made it. We've talked about this, like we've felt in the past that whenever you have a Lego set to build, you have to go live. But actually, one of the things we love about Lego is that ability to decompress while building a Lego. So that video was really cool, and it did really well. And I'm glad it did, because sometimes videos like that don't do well because they're a bit more niche, but it was great that it did.
Should I do more videos like that? I was thinking about it, and I actually got the idea from you. You said record yourself building a Lego set, speed it up, and do a voiceover. Should I do more like that?
Maybe I should do more like that because I never do those. But yeah, it's a great idea. But yeah, but yeah, they are definitely a good idea. It worked very well. The good thing is for you, Matticus, as well. You have a very strong speakable voice, so very identifiable. So your voice is very you, so we know that's you. But it's very kind of like stand out as well. I sound like Tyson Fury, so like it's it's a bit, yeah, but I feel like I've got to speak, like if I was to speak, I'd have to speak really slow. A bit like Christopher Lee, as if I'm like,
ooh, that could be good. That has an appeal, slow and soothing. I don't know, you could do it.
It's not great on a 30-second or 60-second TikTok, though, is it? When you've got to get as much information across as possible. So yeah, I would definitely recommend do that because it allows you to just set your phone away, speed it up, do what you need to do. But you also get that experience of building the Lego kind of in a safe environment. And then you can kind of then do your voiceover and your editing when you need. I'll take that. Liam Opie-Neeson. I will find you and I will kill you. Yeah. But yes, guys, it's I know you all know Matticus already, but if you're not following him, you definitely should be. But let's get behind him on other platforms as well. And basically give him a kick up the arse and say, make us content on Instagram. And do that.
Hold me to it.
Absolutely. And then I'll tell Maddie to tell you that you have to make it as your buddy as well.
Just tell them all to get on me.
It has been an absolute pleasure. And that 90 minutes has absolutely flown over, Matt. So it's
the fastest 90 minutes of my life.
It's that's what she said.
90 minutes.
Actually, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Wow.
But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Yes. My plan going forward is I've been kind of talking about this over the last couple of weeks, but my plan going forward is I had a bit of an idea when Brixton left the show to kind of start to bring multiple people in together. And I nearly did that, but what I actually thought was what I want to do first is there are more people that I want to introduce to my community in this format, one-on-one, to kind of give you guys an opportunity to talk about yourselves, because this is less about what's going on elsewhere. This is more about kind of me and you. So I really want to kind of give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves so that in the almost near future, when we do come back together as a group, everybody kind of is some well-known. People have got a bit of an idea and context to you. So when we start talking about different kind of matters, people kind of know who you are and you feel a bit more confident speaking up in a group environment. So certainly love to have you back on.
That'd be great.
And I don't know how I'm going to do that, but that's the plan. So I'd absolutely love to have you back on. It's always an issue with time and stuff like that, but we'll always make it work. Absolutely. But yeah, any final lasting thoughts or comments from you?
No, just thank you for having me on. As always, it's awesome talking with you. I mean, it's really been, I feel really lucky that we've had the chance to meet and get to know each other. So just connecting with people in this community, it's the best thing. So
it is.
Any time to connect with people, I love it. I welcome the opportunity.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on that. I couldn't agree more. Matticus good. I agree, Tom. I absolutely agree. Harvey, I love this as well. Like the
Opie-Verse phase 2.
Yeah, I love it. 100%.
The universe is expanding.
By the way, I don't know if you guys ever saw this just before we duck out, but obviously you know who Tom Hardy is. But in the UK, we have a thing called CBeebies, which is and it's like a children's show. It's a children's channel. And they do bedtime stories, but they invite celebrities in to read bedtime stories. And they did Tom Hardy. And but it was so intense. And basically a lot of women and probably some men as well, got somewhat excited by it because he's like, off to bed with you now. It was very like a dominant performance.
Wow.
I will find the link and I will send it to you.
Please
But
do.
yeah, so that's essentially the tone that Stevie is putting across here is like me reading bedtime stories. And that's, I have thought about on my YouTube is just kind of reading stuff, but you have to be so careful with like copyright. Like they hate like anything.
They know it all.
They shut you down. But never mind. But yes, thank you, man. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you on. Guys, it's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you in the chat and as active as you always been. It's been so good to have so many in tonight as well. It's been a while since we had this many in. So I appreciate you all showing up and turning up. John, I appreciate you sticking with us, and I'm looking forward to having you and Erin on next week. I know you asked earlier on, but I don't know. It's something good. But yeah, there you go. I told you it was adult.
You had to.
I had to. John, I will wear them again for you next week. I think she's got some grey ones, so I might break them out for you. More definition and all that. But if you haven't already, please hit that like on your way out. The stream isn't set up for next week, but just set your notifications for the Opie-Verse, but for the channel. But I will always be on TikTok as we are before that. But guys, thank you. Have an amazing rest of your Sunday, whatever you do. That goes to you too, Matticus. But guys, check us all out. And until the next time, I will see you then. Matticus, wave goodbye to the people. Bye, everybody. Bye.